felt that frustration come back. That defeatist mentality. And the same thing happens when you're in burnout. You can have a great strategy, plan in place, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, something comes and interrupts it. What does your day look like? How are you helping those on your team who are burned out? Can you even identify what that looks like? So my company has done research on burnout, and what we found is that 79% of the workforce is in burnout. And almost half are in extreme burnout. Meaning they don't know how they are going to get up and go to work the next day. And throughout the day, they're distracted. They lose focus. The World Health Organization recently announced burnout as a medical diagnosis. Yet most people don't even know how to identify it. Woo! Okay. You moved your hand. No moving your hand. Burnout is your number one operating expense. Organizations spend $190 billion a year due to increase in healthcare costs from burnout alone. So how are you dealing with burnout? How are you helping those around you deal with burnout? Sometimes we have to ignite ourselves in order to help other people. And think of a box. So all sides are created equal. So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in for 4, counts, pause for 4, out for 4, and pause for 4. So all the thoughts that you have going on in your head, put them aside. All the stress that you feel, let that go. And as you focus on your breathing, pay attention to how your shoulders relax a little bit, how your body loosens a little bit. And just pay attention to your breathing. It takes leaders to stand up and say, I get it. I felt it. I've been there. And when we lead by example, other people will own up and say, I'm there right now too. So by a show of hands, who has ever dealt with a negative Nancy or a toxic Tim in the workplace? Who's maybe dealing with them right now? Right. And it could be something as simple as you get out of your car, you're walking through the parking lot, and you're like, their car is here. We're going to go through contributing factors to burnout. And what I want you to do is I want you to self-identify. To say, oh yes, that's me. Or I feel that, I've been there. Because the more of these that you can self-identify, the more that you can prevent burnout. The most productive you can be in a day is to work for 15 minutes, give yourself a 10-minute break, work for 15 minutes, give yourself a 10-minute break. Right? And you may say, Jessica, I have too much to do. I don't have time to give myself a 10-minute break. So have you ever had that where you were, I just got 10 minutes. Just give me 10 minutes so I can finish this. 10 minutes. And an hour later, you're finishing. Has that ever happened? And you're like, wait, I just needed 10 minutes. Why did it take me an hour? It's because after a while, your brain starts shutting down and you're actually less productive. So if you step away from it, go for a walk, put in some earbuds and listen to your favorite song, and then come back to it. You can do it in that 10 minutes. But you want to push to resolve it right now. And you're actually doing yourself a disservice. Make sure you're having those conversations with your teams. Asking, how are you? Where are you? Meaning, where are you in the big thick of it all? How do you feel? What's going on? What are your challenges? What are your issues? and brainstorm to help come up with those solutions. And make sure you're charting your burnout every single month so you can visually see what it looks like. Because usually what happens at the end of the year, we're like, oh, we feel pretty good, nothing major happened, or oh, it wasn't that bad of a year. But when we're in it, we don't feel that way. We feel that stress. We feel the, I don't know how I'm going to do this another day. But when we chart it and we can see a pattern, we can become more proactive. How engaged are you with your people? How well are you communicating with them? Again, leading by example, sharing with them how you've been burned out before, what you've done, what's worked for you, finding out how they're burned out, when they're burned out, why they're burned out. Having all that information allows you to put strategies and tools in place to help them. The longer you're in an industry, the more burnout hits, the stronger it hits, and the longer it stays. Something may come along in your day to throw you off track, to throw you off course. And then that thing bleeds into the next day, and the next day, and the next day. So do you allow it to hold you down? Or do you tweak and adjust along the way? Do you implement something not just for today that's going to help you, but something every single day? Because it's not about taking all these things and throwing them in and trying all of them at once. Because that'll lead to overwhelm. And when you get overwhelmed, you tend to shut down and not want to do anything. So it's just about taking one thing, one action, one strategy, putting that in place, and then when you have that down, putting another one. Because the more you help yourself, the more you help your people in your organization. Thank you for having me.